So a few years ago, after I graduated college, I was working as a freelancer for Medicare, right? And I was assigned a Spanish translator because a majority of my clientele were from the Mexican community. His name is Saul, and Saul and I were driving to San Bernardino to go to an appointment. And Saul goes, Melissa, I think that you should take this next appointment. I think your Spanish is good enough. And I said, bro, that is a terrible idea. I understand more than I could speak it. And when I speak it, it just comes out in this gringa accent, and these people don't deserve that. And he goes, Melissa, how are you going to learn if you don't push yourself, if you don't test yourself? And I'm like, all right. And he just hypes me up the whole entire time. We get to this woman's house, and she's probably in her mid 80s or something. And she's also there with her daughter, who's there to help her. And her daughter is like 55 years old. And we're sitting at their dinner table, and they have a platter filled with some dessert and some cakes. And I notice a red ribbon dessert. And if you don't know red ribbon, it's a Filipino bake shop. And I go, "Ooh, me gusta mamon," because mamon is it's a dessert that we have, right? And they were both kind of like, what? Like they didn't. And I was like, oh, and I pointed at the dessert, and they're like, oh, okay, right. So that was just like one thing, and Sal didn't say anything, right? So I'm taking lead, taking charge with this conversation, and it gets to the point where I'm asking her about medication refill, and I start the conversation going, "Tiene los trugas," and the air shifts in the room, and again they look at me funny, and I just said, oh, like a cortisol or whatever medication she was taking. They go, see. So by the time we get back in the car and Saul buckles himself in, he's like, hey, Melissa, by the way, say medicinas instead of drugas so you don't sound like a fucking drug lord. I said, this is exactly why I said that we shouldn't have done this, because I'm over here making myself look like an idiot.